Welcome, this is Charlie. We are going to start to decorate the outside of our album, and it's kind of taken me a couple of days to come up with a theme that I'm going to be happy with. Now, if you don't like this theme, you can certainly change up, but caution, if you do that, you could be using paper that I have already set aside and intend to use on future signatures. I made the comment in a very short video that I was going to make this album, and due to the nature of the paper, it had a real woodsy, masculine feel to me. So I am really going to cater this to that outdoor person that loves to hunt, fish, camp, or just hike, ski, but they're going to see the elements that they might run into when they're out there. So one of the things I wanted to start off with was kind of a focal piece, a statement piece on the front. And I really loved this waterfall scene. So in your fussy cuts, there is this bear who is a perfect size to place over this bear. I've mounted him on some chipboard so he was sturdy, and then I came in with some pop-ups. So he's got a little bit of height here, but that's intended. And then one of the cards out of the A4 paper has this moose, and then across the bottom it says, "The Call of the Forest." So I fussy cut out the moose, and I'm going to place him back behind the bear. He's visiting the waterfall. The bear's just leaving. I like to tell a story. And then I cut this card, what was left of the card, and I'm going to put it up here at the top. Now, I did take and fussy cut out one of the little field mice, and I came in here on the bottom of this rock, and I made a bit of a slit so that I could slide him in here so that it would look like that he's peeking out from behind the rock. I had some filigree corners that Scrap and Create had sent me that I did not use, so I'm adding them here to the front, and that will be the front of the album. And then for the side and the back, I used this tag because it kind of stayed in this same theme. And then for the back of the paper, I am using this beautiful woodsy green with the snowfall. We got snowfall going here. And these two pieces, the spine and the back, I use the same paper. Now, this piece here, I mounted onto some of this Harvest cardstock. God, I'll get it out yet here. To give it a little bit of texture, and it came off of this sheet. It was down here at the bottom. Now, I will probably use a lot of these elements as well as the center, so hold on to this. And then, so this will come across here on the bottom of the back page, like so. Now I'm going to try something I've not done before. I'm going to make a clasp closure. So this will wrap from the back of the album. It will come up to the front, and I've got a couple of clasps that I'm going to be using. Now, if you do not want to do this, or you do not have any form of a clasp mechanism, you can certainly do a ribbon tie. Now, I have some taupe colored ribbon that matches this Harvest really nicely. It gives it just kind of a nice soft feel. So you would need 36 inches of it. This is 1/4 of an inch long, and you'll put about an inch, inch and a half here, and then it leaves the remainder of this for your tie. Now, I do sell this on my website. So if you're visiting it and you're looking at things, I've got a lot of ribbon there and some twine. Okay, so I don't know where we can find these that I can help you out with, but if I can find a link, I'll put it in the description field. All right? So let's go ahead and get started. Now, in one of the short videos where I was explaining what I was going to do with this album, I had indicated to go ahead and pick a green color of your choice. I've got a lot of green color and it just wasn't working. So I am going to use white. The white against the paper and then against the craft allows each of the elements to stand for themselves. So that's what I'm going to be doing. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get this put on. I'm going to tape this first one on because I really want it to be down onto the cardstock. Now the book is 9 by 9. I did trim these out, I do believe, at 8 7/8. I'll verify that measurement here. Give me a second here. So these did cut in at 8 7/8 square. And I always mark what's my top because sometimes they don't fit in right if I don't. So I'm going to put this on here. Now I will note that I made some notes on here that my spots for punching my holes needs to be 3/4 of an inch in, 4 1/8, 4 1/8, and then 3/4 of an inch in. So let me just double check this. We'll go from the center out. So literally 4 1/8 from the center here to the edge, 4 1/8 from here to here, and then you're going to come in and you're going to mark this up at 3/4 of an inch, and that's where this item will get attached onto. So I had to write that down here because I'm going to need to punch that through when I get my pattern paper on, because it's got to go through all the levels. I just felt that a nice clasp would fit a lot better with this album than lace and ribbon. And it was, again, one of my 2 o'clock in the morning brainstorms on how I was going to make that clasp mechanism, because I've honestly not really done one in this fashion before. So put a lot of thought into it. I think it's going to work. If I get in here and I find out it doesn't, then I'm going to be lifting some tape to put that ribbon in. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get the rest of the white cardstock put on. Now when you're cutting this piece for the spine, you've created some extra width here because of the hinge. Do not make it that extra width. You want to keep it within the hinge. What did I measure? What did mine come in at? I came in right at 2.5, which is the width of the spine to start with. So then when you close this, this should be writing right here. I'm a little bit off center. I don't know if I can pick this up in time to try and move it a little bit this way. There we we go. So then it should have even rounded corners here on both sides. Now, let me finish this and then I'll tell you what you're going to do on the back, because the measurements on the back are going to be different than what we're going to do on the front as far as for punching the holes. And I do hope this works. Otherwise, I've got holes on the front of my album. Okay, so then, now, here you're going to come in again 4 1/8, 4 1/8, but this time you're only coming in 1/2 inch. So this is going to be 1/2 inch, and then the length again is going to be 4 1/8. And again, this piece here was cut 8 7/8 by 8 7/8. Okay, I am going to put the spine on first. It is going to be the quickest and the easiest. Now, if you don't want to use the tag that I use, there's a plethora of them. I doubt you would run into any issues with what I would be using because it's coming out of that A4 paper, unless I chose to use the back side of that paper to fill in the album. But I really liked this, the elk in front of the waterfall. To me, it just somewhat finished that theme with the moose and the bear. And I'm just going to put this dead center. Well, I don't know if it's dead center. I'm not measuring. I'm just eyeballing. Okay, I'm going to quickly put the back on and take a big deep breath and hope that I'm going to get this set up right. Okay, so I'll put this down here. Come up about 1/2 inch. Center it as best as I can. Okay, now this is going to be the first scary spot. So I want to come in 4 1/8 and 1/2 inch from this edge. So I'm with this ruler, I'm bringing that 1/2 inch all the way to the edge, and then I'm 4 1/8. So here's where my first punch is going to be. And then I'm going to come in here again at 1/2 inch and 4 1/8. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? Here's 1/2 inch, 4 1/8, and here's where my other punch is going to be, right there. Ugh, this is really scary. Oh, but before I should do that, I should really put this together. Okay, so you're going to cut, to make this sturdy enough, you don't want it wearing out, and you want it to handle the weight of the piece we're going to put here. So you're going to cut 2 pieces that the overall length is going to be at 4 1/8 by 2 inches. And then you're going to glue them together, and then you're going to come in, you're going to score at 1 inch, and then you're going to score at 3 1/2 inches. And then you will try to line up and punch your holes. This 1 inch is going on the back. This is what's the smaller of the two is what's going to come around to the front to match up with this lock. So this is going to go on here. Now I went and dug into some of the A4 paper that I had already cut into to cut these pieces. So for the outside, I wanted to maintain this theme here. So in the A4 paper, I cut these pieces here. Make sure the trees are going in the right direction. And then this piece will go back here. And I've inked them so then when this flexes, you're not pulling the paper. Now, the underside of this, I cut this piece. And I did score the underside. Oops, got it upside down. So I scored it to match, and because this is going to flex, I had to take a little bit of the trim off the ends. So when I put this together, I'm going to glue this piece down first, bend these so that these come in right where they're supposed to be, and then this kind of then ends up with a fixed form. Does that make sense? So I am going to do the bottom first, the underside first. I'm going to glue the center. And then I will mark my holes. Okay, so then I'm going to and I'm going to bend this so that it comes out where it needs to be, and this reinforces this bent position. Now I'm going to do this end. Bend this, squeeze this together. Okay, now I need to mark my holes. Okay. I'm going to come on this side. I think I'm going to push that ugliness down in there. Now you won't, ultimately, I don't think we're going to see this flapper this this flap because this is going to get affixed back here. And then this is going to come up. No, this is the back. The 1 inch is the back. Whew. Almost blew that. So the 1 inch is in the back. This is going to come to the front. And then this small piece will lay over this. I will then secure my hole to run my brads through. I'm scaring myself. Okay, so because I need to go through this chipboard, I am going to use my big punch. Sorry for the noise. Okay. So I need to I need to cover this now. So I'm taking this strip that's going to go over this piece. Then I'm going to come through the back side. Ouch. Then now this is going to be a bit tight, so I'm just going to push it through. Make sure the trees are going in the right direction. That's going to go through, and that's going to go through. Okay, so one of my holes is off. I just need to break it just a little bit, not much. Okay, there we go. Straighten that out just a little bit. Now these have nice long brad ends. Now I'm going to make some noise, so I apologize. Hammer those in. So now this is going to come up around and it will secure here like so. So then when we're done, we've got a nice piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this piece in, but I will wait to put on the other piece until I have the front built. My heart's pounding really fast, you guys. I'm just really hoping. I'm hoping that you're watching this very carefully, because if I make a mistake, I don't want you repeating it. So I'm trying to do this slow step by step, and I can see I'm off a little bit. I'm pushing that. I'm going to run some glue underneath here to help maintain it in its proper position. And then I'm going to come up underneath here with a little bit more glue. And boy, I got a lot of glue in there, but that's okay. Where'd my paper towel go? All right, so now we'll put the front on. Now, if you got these little filigrees, I would encourage you to put them on right away when you cut the paper, and then put these on. I use glossy accents. That way these have a chance to set while you're doing all this other stuff. Okay, so now we're going to open this up. And I'm going to get this down here. Make sure I don't have to take any trims off. I think I am. I think I'm going to trim a little bit off this edge because I'd like to have equal amount of the white showing. And this sometimes gives me a bit of a trouble, but I'm hoping it doesn't. Let's see. It does it every time. I don't know why. I end up with this extra bulge right there. That's like the paper and the trimmer are just not making a good connection. Okay. Now let's take a look here. Ah, much better, much better. Okay, let's get it glued. This is a lovely piece back here. Now when you trim this, I want you to hold on to the pieces that have this plaid because we're going to be using them. Now, before I lose him and before I get too far ahead, I want to get my little mouse back up underneath here. So like I said, I came in here along this rock and I cut a slit so that I could just sort of set him down in there so he would look like he's peeking out from underneath. Now, if you don't want to make the slit, that's fine. It's just that when you trim them out, you're trimming off some rugged snow, and then this ends up being a bit rugged. You see his little tiny paws, but I wanted to make sure that he was tucked back down in there. So before I do anything else, okay, here we go. Okay, so I am going to come in. This was 3/4 of an inch. So on this ruler, I'm going to line up 1, 2, 3, this line right here with the edge all the way down. And then my first tick mark is going to be at 4 1/8. And then I'm going to come back down here at 4 1/8, come in 3/4 of an inch, 4 1/8. I've got such a glare here. And then here's my other tick mark. So each of these should be 3/4 of an inch from this edge to where I need to punch my hole. Okay. Big deep breath, Charlie. Big deep breath. This would probably be easier if I move this up 3/4 of an inch. Oh, shoot. Oh my gosh, I just punched the hole in the wrong spot. I hope this thing covers it. No, it won't. Gosh darn it. Okay, what am I going to do? I can't punch it back in. Oh no. And then on top of it, okay, I need to bring this around. I can't believe I just was so afraid I would make a mistake. Oh. Okay, so nope, this one's going here. What am I doing? Okay, so I have created a bit of a dilemma for myself. I'm going to put these on real quick here. So I'm not holding on to so many things. I can't believe this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do to fix this. And I can fix this. I don't want these brads showing, but I can take a piece of paper and put over this. That's not so much a worry as it is this. I'm so upset. None of the holes got punched right. Okay, so this hole's got to come this way, and this hole, it looks like it's coming this way. And then that leaves that hole. Ugh. I may have just really ruined the front of this. It's really hard to see behind this thing, and I don't have another punch to work with. I'm trying to see the punching mechanism. Okay. I'm going to have to put something under here to hide this hole. And for now, I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to see if this is going to function. And then this is going to come up here. Okay, so it will function. But I've got to fix this. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So while I finish this, my brain is going to go into overdrive. So what I would highly recommend is that you trim this right here, save this piece so that you can hide the brads. And I'll have to punch the holes through here. And I know you're probably going, why is she using such big brads? Well, it's not the size of the top of the brad. It was after this, the length to get these brads to be long enough to come through all of the thicknesses. Okay, so now I will cut, I think it's a 1/2 inch. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit wider. Because I want this to come all the way to the end to help cover up those brads. Okay. I'm going to be double dutying it here with this. Oh gosh, I put glue on it and I forgot to ink it. Coming all the way to the end, and on it goes. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I don't know that I have any scraps that will blend in. Let me look here. That's going the wrong way. Oh, I'm so bummed. And I don't dare seal the, well, for now, I'm just going to add this. And I will think of something before I cover the inside, and it would be on the next video. This is taking way too much time. And I'll put this on here. I will figure this out. My brain will go into overdrive here. Okay, so now let's finish this outside of this, because like I said, this is just taking way too long. Okay, we're going to put the bear on here. And he's a perfect size, but then we're going to put the moose back here. So the moose has got to go on first, because he's going to come up underneath the bear a bit. So we're going to glue down the antlers. And then I'm going to glue down his body. Whoops. I'm not going to glue his ears down. I want kind of a little bit of a lift there. But these antlers are so fragile here at this base, especially this one. So I'm just going to glue those down, and then we're going to put the bear in its place. I'm just going to roll off camera to take all this paper off the back of the pop-up. So there we go. Okay, so then this is going to sit over the one that's there. The moose is behind. We've got the little mouse. And the only thing left to add is the call of the forest. And I'm going to put that right up here. Okay, so here we go. close. There we go. Okie dokie. So this is what I have. Again, if you don't want to do this, you do not have to. You can use, like I said, the ribbon closure. If you do this, I hope you have a better way to punch, because now I've got a hole I need to plug or do something. So anyways, there we go. And I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I'll see you on the next build. Bye-bye.